Good evening, ma'am.
Hello, good evening. Welcome.
How are you, ma'am?
I'm good. Thank you. Happy International Dance Day.
Same to you, ma'am. It's a pleasure to have you with us today.
Same. I'm so happy and grateful for this opportunity. Thank you, Dr. Disanaike. Am I saying it right? Thank you. Thank you, Dr. Dasgupta. I want to share my screen as I have a PowerPoint and I have a few videos on
Sure,
YouTube.
ma'am.
Okay, okay. Thank you.
Am I audible, Dr. Madhurima, right?
Yes, sir, you're
Yes,
audible.
yes. We'll start around 7:30. So thank
Okay.
you very much for joining, Dr. Sarkar, right? Am I right? Yes, thank you
Yes,
very much.
yes.
It's a great pleasure
Thank
to
you.
us.
Thank you. So, can I share my screen just to test as a
Uh,
as a technical check, or are we already online?
I think you can just share once if you want. Then we can start at 7:30 p.m.
Okay, thank you. I'm just going to try and share this. Okay. Can you hear? Could you hear the sound?
Yeah. It can be heard,
Yes,
ma'am.
it's very clear, Doctor. Yes.
Okay, great. Thank
Yeah.
you. Thank you.
Thank
Okay, yeah, sorry. Sorry. Yeah, all good. I have it all prepared now.
Sir, shall I start?
Yes, sure.
A very good evening to our respected guest speaker for today, Professor Dr. Kaustavi Sarkar, our respected director, Sir, Professor Dr. Avindu and to all the participants present here. It is with great honor and privilege to welcome all of you to a very auspicious occasion today. What is today? It's International Dance Day. We say it World Dance Day. Now, whenever we hear the term dance, what comes to our mind? Dance means to have one's own self-expression, to throw away all the inhibitions and taboos of our life and to express ourselves, to forget the mundane aspects, the dismal aspects of life, and be in the world of new self-reflection, self-expression, and self-evolvement, to discover oneself through dance. In one statement, dance helps to express our own soul. So this day, that is 29th April, is celebrated as the International Dance Day because it's a global celebration of different dances, which is promoted by the International Dance Council and the International Theatre Institute. And this event takes place every year on 29th of April, which is also the anniversary of the birth of Jean-Georges Noverre, who is considered to be the father or the creator of modern ballet. And this day encourages participation and education in dance through different festivals, which is held globally. And the major objective of this International Dance Day is to raise public awareness about dance, not only as a form of cultural expression, but also as an educational tool. So to enrich more into about this educational tool, today we have a very special guest speaker, Professor Dr. Kaustavi Sarkar, who is an Associate Professor of Dance, Director of the Arts and Architecture Honours Program from Charlotte University. To introduce our guest speaker to you all, Kaustavi Sarkar is a professional Odissi soloist performing and touring the Eastern Indian traditional art form for 2 decades. She investigates virtuosity in dance theatre as fostered in traditional Indian aesthetics through her research on choreography and creative processes. She has commissioned works from female choreographers like Ananya Chatterjee, Rohini Dandavate, Aruna Mohanty, and Maya Kulkarni to research and write about the creative process in South Asian aesthetics. She has published journal-length inquiries in International Journal of Screen Dance, Choreographic Practices, Journal on Dance Education, Performance Research. Her book, Dance Technology and Social Justice, Individual and Collective Emancipation through Embodied Techniques, has been featured in Dance Studies Association 2024-25 reading seminars. She is a leader in her field and serves as a regional director for the American College Dance Association Mid-Atlantic region. Her research institute, which is known as Dance and Community, it brings together all the artists, educators, and scholars together towards a systematic change and has been recognized by ACDA as an integrative medium for diasporic artists. She's the founding member and also business manager for the journal South Asian Dance Intersections. She's also the founder of ODC conference held annually at UNC Charlotte, which is the largest gathering of ODC artists outside India. She holds a PhD in dance studies with special emphasis on digital humanities from Ohio State University and even MSc in economics with minor in finance from Texas A&M University. So we could not have anyone better than her to enrich all of us on such an auspicious occasion of International Dance Day. I heartily welcome Professor Dr. Kaustavi Sarkar to enlighten all of us on the topic Form and Formless, Investigating Dance, Gender in Movement. Sorry. Over to you, ma'am.
Hello, can you all hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Namaste. Thank you for that beautiful introduction, Dr. Madhurima Dasgupta, and thank you for extending this invitation to me, Dr. Desnaike. I am a devotee of movement. My gurus are Guru Paushali Mukherjee, Guru Ratikant Mahapatra, and Guru Sujata Mahapatra. I'm an Indian dancer. I wear multiple hats. I love teaching my 3-year-olds every Sunday morning. And I also love ideating and thinking and philosophizing about dance. And today I want to share about the intersections of philosophy and dance, especially as it communicates through gender as well as materiality, that is, the form and the formless. So I will share my screen. I have come prepared with a PowerPoint. I will share my screen, and throughout my presentation, I will also weave in some dance videos, both historical as well as contemporary. So form and formless, transformative gendering in Odissi dance. Odissi is an Eastern Indian dance form. It is known for its languid upper bodies and grounded stances. And here I'm quoting Dr. Nandini Sekand, who has a book named Languid and Grounded. Here on the right, you see me with my student, Imani Gaston. And this is a photo shoot for her Mancha Pravesh, which means graduation in dance. So she was undergoing her undergraduate degree in at the Ohio State University. And here you see a sort of an intimate bonding between the teacher and the taught. And I want to really keep this at the center of our conversation. I started the presentation today by thanking my teachers. And here I am continuing the idea of a lineage, or what I call a relational bonding between the mentor and the mentee, where both learn simultaneously across history and contemporaneity. On the left, you see a temple. This is the Jagannath temple of Orissa. It is in the coastal city of Orissa, and here called Puri. And in the Jagannath temple, you have had historically movement as ritual. So over 1,000 years, movement has been part of ritual practice at the temple premises. And the entire temple is imbued with beautiful architecture as well as sculpture. And these inform movement of the Odissi. The postures, the gestures, the beautiful qualitative like movement qualities in Odissi dance. And at the bottom, you see a picture of Jagannath, Balaram, and Subhadra. These are Hindu deities who have been worshipped at the Jagannath temple for over millennia. So the temple used the dance form as a ritual practice. Now, I want to question here a few things. One is the idea of the form, right? What is form in a dance context, right? A dance is considered some sort of stylized movement, and Odissi dance is deeply stylized with its historical, cultural, as well as ritual influences, but also the architectural and the sculptural qualities of the stone, as you see in the Jagannath temple. These also seep into the movement that you see on the right. But also, the question of form is in making in the question of relationship, the relationship between the relationship across. So relationship between the mentor and mentee, between the devotee of dance and a higher power, or between the contemporary learner of movement who is probably learning Odissi across ballet, jazz, tap, hip hop, just as a way to enhance movement quality. But nevertheless, there is a relationship of form and formless. Thinking of the stone sculpture of the movement fossilized in the Jagannath temple, and how that translates in Imani Gaston's movement, who is a contemporary American citizen with African American heritage and lineage. So she does not relate to the form through the devotional principles of, say, devotee of the God Lord Jagannath. However, the aspect of relational bonding between and across, between the form and the formless, is still a strong cultural imprint of the premise of Odyssey. So now I bring us to some theories and methods. So non-dual philosophy is where I ground my research in movement. Non-dual philosophy questions the premise of materiality and material difference. It critiques the contemporary understanding that materiality is the substratum for difference. Rather, it poses that materiality is the instantiation of difference. Materiality across the body-mind is woven in motion in the abstract formulations of dance. So in the earlier example, we saw materiality of stone. We saw materiality of the human body. We saw materiality of a place, a time, and culture. So gestural ambiguity, gesture is huge in the context of Odyssey dance. Each finger is codified in the ways we show our movement, either representing something or indicating something. Postural decentering, the posture of the dancing body, has a lot of significance, either culturally or in a sort of movement quality way. For example, we have the square posture of Chauka, which primarily refers to the Jagannath, who you see on the right. So Jagannath square posture, you see the hands emerging here in yellow. So that is sort of a very squared 90-degree posture that is indicative of Jagannath himself. But however, there is not just the Chauka in Odyssey. There is the Tribhanga, which is an S shape. Then there is Abhanga, which is a slightly softer posture. And then there is the Sama, which is absolutely straight. So there is postural decentering happening. Qualitative blurring, so movement qualities are constantly being blurred. So gestural ambiguity, postural decentering, and qualitative blurring are the three methodological lenses I employ in this research to argue that dance negotiates indifference only to transform the planar view from gender duality towards a non-dual merging of the subject and the object. So the word gender comes in at the very heart of the posture, as I mentioned. Chauka employs a male Hindu deity. Tribhanga employs a female a female figurine. So here itself you see a very simple example of multiplicity in terms of genders, as well as decentering, blurring, and ambiguity across the form and formless of Odyssey dance. So I want to take us a little bit to the history of Odyssey. Primarily, historically, we've had two big lineages of artists. One, the Maharis, who were the temple dancers, especially as I mentioned, they performed in the ritual practice of Jagannath temple in Puri. And then Gotipuas. Gotipuas are young boys dressed as girls, and they performed outside the temples. So while Maharis performed in a solo capacity mostly, Gotipuas, as you see in the picture, performs in uh, um, in a multiple capacity, and then they really are known for their flexible bodies and these beautiful ensembles and shapes that they create, the tableaus that they create. So while Maharis on the left would communicate through evocative facial expression and gestural softness, the Gotipuas would primarily communicate with visual, large imagery. So I just want to stop here for a second and check in with my community here. If you have any questions for me, are there any questions that that emerge from the Zoom audience here? If not, I can continue with my presentation. Okay, there is one question by Professor Mukherjee. The question is, does it mean that every gesture in Odissi dance holds a separate meaning? The short answer, Dr. Mukherjee, is yes, absolutely. Odissi is layered with precision and history and contemporaneity and creativity. Every gesture, so for a simple example I can give you here, this is a mayura. It is a single-handed gesture, and it is used as to show a peacock, to show a peacock feather, but also it can be used in a very abstract way. For example, ta ki ta, in rhythm, in a very abstract way. Ta ki ta, simple, 3 rhythmic syllables, and here it is used in a very abstract way. So the precision and the layering of movement with text is unparalleled in the case of Indian dance. You've had gestural specificity and semiotic meaning making across multiple texts. Abhinaya Darpana, Natya Shastra are just the tip of the iceberg. Through commentaries and through philosophizing, multiple texts have emerged over time to really echo meaning making of the gesture. So gesture is a direct link to linguistic meaning making, semiotic meaning making. However, it can also be used, as I mentioned, in an abstract capacity. I hope I have answered your question. So I'll move on to showing the videos of the Mahari first, the temple dancers, and then the Gotipuas second, the young boys, prepubescent young boys dressed as girls. Thank you. Sharing my screen now.
For the last 900 years, Odissi dance has been performed regularly in the temple of Lord Jagannath by temple dancers known as Maharis. Forbidden to the general public, the dance was conducted only by the Rajguru or the royal preceptor in the divine presence of the deity. This is a song describing the tragic plight of the gopis after the departure of Sri Krishna from Gopapura to Puri. For the last 40 years or so, the dance of the Maharis has been discontinued in the temple.
Do you know what eating an avocado can do to the heart?
I apologize for YouTube ads. Moving on to the Gotipua dance segment. So now I want to show one more video. The two videos that you saw, they are sort of curated in the recent times of traditional practices of temple dancers as well as of the Gotipuas, who were young boys who dressed as females and they danced outside the temple. In the recent times, I am trained in Guru Kelucharan Mahapatra's style of Odissi. My first teacher was Guru Paushali Mukherjee, and I want to dedicate this presentation and this dance day to her. She recently left us from the plane of the human world. So I want to share a particular take, a contemporary take on a canonical piece of choreography. The choreography that I want to share is Guru Kelucharan Mahapatra's choreography of a rhythmic piece, a rhythmic and melodic piece called Saveri Pallavi. Saveri is the name of a raga or a melodic mode. It is a combination of musical notes that evoke a certain mood. Pallavi is the name of musical proliferation. It literally visualizes movement, visualizes melody, visualizes rhythm through movement. So in this example that I will show you, here you will see Saveri Pallavi being performed by two dancers. One, an undergraduate dancer, Amara Kranz, and the other, a high school student who is in the Indian diasporic community in Charlotte. Anaya Nandi. And here I have taken the solo art form or solo choreography of Guru Kelucharan Mahapatra and placed it across two bodies in ways that communicate with one another, across the form and the formless. So after the video, I would love to have a conversation and open up for more questions, especially along those three theoretical premises of gestural ambiguity, postural decentering, and qualitative blurring. Thank you. Okay, I want to just continue with my presentation and conclude with a few notes. So we saw the historical context, we saw some contemporary creative takes on canonical choreography. So what is gender? Where is gender in the choreography? something that we follow in the dance is where the hand goes, the eye goes. Where the eye goes, the mind goes. Where the mind goes, the heart goes. And there is rasa. So is gender in the hand, is gender in the eye, is gender in the mind, or is gender in the heart? The point that I want to raise here is the point of ambiguity, is the point of decentering, is the point of blurring. Here we do have gendered stereotypes or gendered archetypes in movement. However, how is it being deployed in movement? I think that's the question. And that's where the form and the formless are in constant conversation. And rasa is an important element here. Rasa simply means a sentiment, an aesthetic distillation of a particular thought, emotion. So gesture, abstract gesticulation, complementing facial expression evokes rasa, right? And in the movement that you saw, the last choreography that you saw, you did see the dancers emoting with their face. There is a quintessential smile to ensure that they take responsibility for audience having a good time, watching them, giving them their time. So making it worth for the audience. So the smile is a way to welcome the audience into the layer, into the precision that the movement entails. And then there is literal portrayal of gender, such as in moral depravity and resilience. And the dramatic arcs in Odyssey choreography are too many. So we do have grand narratives of moral depravity and resilience and such, so and so forth. So the point here I'm trying to make is returning to that question of Mayura, the abstract gesticulation of simple time count, or the literal portrayal of a peacock, right? A male peacock with the huge, beautiful plume, the colorful plume, right? So the abstract and the literal are in constant conversation. So establishing the performative is something that I am borrowing from Odissi scholar Anurima Banerjee, who talks about the distributed body of dance along the temple. We saw the temple, the Jagannath temple, along the deity, Lord Jagannath, right? The primary deity of that temple, and the Mahari, right? She is questioning or critiquing the practice of the ritual, Mahari ritual. And she establishes a performative along a distribution of embodiment of materiality. And we saw a similar example in the duet presentation that we saw by Amara and Anaya in the spacing distance, which is a take on Guru Kelucharan Mahapatra's iconic Saveri Pallavi created on Dansyu's Priyambada Mahanti. So here the two dancers, Amara and Anaya, were breaking into form and moving out of form. Again, breaking into form and moving out of form to literally establish the distribution, the distributed materiality. So here I talk about the possibility of transformation, the possibility of blurring and decentering. So there is the performative, but there is also the planar, right? This idea of a form to the formless. So that's the question of planar. A constant processual making of the self. So something that Dr. Madhurima mentioned today at the beginning is dance is a process of discovery. It is also a process of self-making. The gendering and the dissolution, the kinesthetic, right? The kinetic and the aesthetic, making and unmaking. And here comes huge implications for queer feminist performance as well as dance studies. So the question of transformation is imbued in the canonical repertoire of Odissi dance. Odissi dance primarily has 5 important elements, Mangalacharan, which is the invocatory element, and the last is moksha, which is the transformative element. Moksha simply perhaps mean liberation. So this idea of invocation to liberation, and it goes through foundational principles, then it goes to musical proliferation and textual elaborations. So the idea of transformation is central to the performative. And here you see Guru Kumkum Mahanti, Padma Shri Guru Kumkum Mahanti, expressing fear, right? Bhaya. So here you see an expression of fear. So facial expression becomes a way of communicating. An entire 1 hour recital can be done with just the face. That's where I want to end my presentation today, highlighting the idea of the face, especially because I work in a Western concert scenario where the face is devalued. The face is not part of the dance making. The face is not supposed to be. We started the day with Nover, right? Madhurima, Dr. Dasgupta. Nover sort of, in his primary principles of dance making, he mentioned how the face needs to be very demure, and not very pliable. But that's a Western aesthetic. That's not the aesthetic we believe in. That's not the aesthetic that Odissi dance grounds itself and prides itself on. So I want to really take a moment to celebrate the face. Thank you. Over to you.
My sincere gratitude to our guest speaker for such an enriching lecture on the different dance forms and also on Odissi, Gotipyo. It has been really very much, what would I say, mesmerizing for all of us. Now, I would like to request our participants, if they have any questions, you can either write in the chat box or you can unmute yourself and ask our respected speaker directly. I think there is one question already.
Absolutely. I'm going to read out the question that Dr.
Sure.
Mukherjee has written in the
Yeah.
chat. So
The
why
question
is...
Shall I, ma'am? Yeah.
Go ahead. Please go ahead.
Okay. The question is from Advocate Anubhav Mukherjee, who asks, why is the Gotipyo dance only performed by boys in girls get-up? I'm curious to know if there is any history behind it. Can Gotipua be performed by girls too or only by boys?
So it's a 16th century historical construction, Gotipua. Goti means one, Pua means boy. So as a way to democratize the temple ritual that used to take place in Jagannath temple, a way to democratize it for the larger public. In 16th century, you had these akharas or gymnasiums where these young boys were inducted and they went through a rigorous training process. Our dancing bodies are not as trained as the Gotipur dancing bodies, the contemporary Odissi dancers' bodies. We do not train in that way. So I think historically it has been a male-only tradition. I have not yet seen any girls being part of Gotipur performances. So one thing to note here, thank you for that question, Advocate Mukherjee. One thing to really note here is Mahari as a ritual, as a practice, has died down. With the death of Mahari Shoshimuni Devi, who was the last surviving Mahari, that practice is no more. However, Gotipua practice continues in its traditional contexts to contemporary times, right? So Gotipua practice has continued. I see Gotipua performed in reality television. I see Gotipua performed in modern contemporary dance festivals. And here the video that we saw was a celebration of ISKCON. So ISKCON, which is Krishna Consciousness, Society for Krishna Consciousness. So that is one way of incorporating Gotipua ensembles where the tableaus were primarily showcasing sort of different episodes of the life of Krishna. So in any case, I think this is a very important and relevant question. Historically, it has been a male-only tradition. Thank you.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Any more questions from the participants, please? I don't think so. Any more questions are there, ma'am? One question which I have, uh, just want to know, that is, since I worked on masculinity in my PhD research, so like the boys in the Gotipua dance were cladded in the attire of girls, were they subjected to any kind of bullying because they are deviating from the heteronormative standards of masculinity? That is something which I would like to know.
Yeah, that is an ethnographic study, a long, deep ethnographic study with field work. And I had written a grant to do that study. I did not get that grant. So I was not able to do that study. And I have not seen sociological studies of the Gotipua tradition. I have seen aesthetic papers being written, and I have seen lots of Odissi dancers. One in particular, I want to talk about Dr. Rekha Tandon. So she did her PhD in dance in the UK, in Laban School in UK, and she incorporated very beautifully this element of ritual in her choreography, in her creative impulse. However, the idea of heteronormativity does not, I think there is a little bit of a theoretical disjuncture also. Does bullying happen or not? It is. It is a larger sociological question, and I want to refrain myself from answering without seeing studies, uh, or just imagining or speculating or anecdotes, right? Just thinking through anecdotes. I want to refrain myself from going into that quagmire. However, I do want to take your question, your idea of heteronormativity, and unpack that a little bit. I do think the heteronormativity is definitely, it comes out from a really like Western philosophical framework and theoretical framework of gender studies, and which really thinks of gender as an identity marker, right? And gender as a material difference. And dance is interesting because you're constantly playing through gender. You're constantly playing through gender. But however, it is deeply gendered. Mahari is deeply a female-centered form. Gotipo is deeply a male-centered form. So on one hand, you have gender as sort of a gatekeeping mechanism. But if you see the aesthetic, if you see the dance, you would really find this blurring, this decentering, this ambiguity. So I see a lot of potential of non-heteronormative ways of thinking, being, and critiquing. However, how much of that is in the sociological framework? I think that is a very big question. I'm sorry I couldn't answer your question fully.
No, ma'am, it's completely fine. Just that, yeah, because when I did my research, I found that boys, especially hegemonic boys, when they deviated from the, heteronormative standards, like not being physically strong, being very soft, participating in classical dance, then they were very much bullied by their friends and even by their family members. So that is why this question came. Thank you so much, ma'am.
Absolutely. And just maybe one last thing I'll say on that. The idea of gender as being the center of your attitude, your posture, your gesture, right? Like your mere existence. And then gender becomes this primary substratum, primary difference. And dance perhaps is the answer, right? Dance does not think of gender as primary. You're constantly gendering amongst multiplicity and plurality. So then the embodiment is a question of making and unmaking, process rather than a final product, right? But yes, bullying is real, right? Bullying is real. And I've seen my share. I have seen my male dancing friends um, being looked at in a certain way or being critiqued for their choices. I would say that's a societal problem. Continues to be.
Exactly. That is when people, deviate from the social construction of gender attributes.
Absolutely. So there's one more question by Advocate Mukherjee. Thank you for sharing these beautiful questions. What is Mangalacharan? Mangalacharan is an invocatory framework. One can say it's an invocatory framework. And in Odissi, you have Mangalacharan as the first dance element, right? You have 5 dance elements: Mangalacharan, Batu, Pallavi, Abhinaya, Moksha. So Mangalacharan is an invocatory element. And the way this is organized is sort of a ritual transformative, Moksha being the transformative impulse, and then Mangalacharan being like the invocation of, one can say, beyond the form, right? Invocation of the formless. Thank you.
Any other questions from any participant? If you want to share any experience, because today is a very special day of International Dance Day. If anybody wants to share any experience, any observation, you all are very much, you can share with the speaker. Ma'am has spoken enough. She has elaborated very much on the importance of this day and also on Odissi dance. You can share if you want.
Just one thing I would probably like to say in conclusion is beauty and dance have been really intertwined in ways that have been probably debilitating for the field, in ways that have been that have put dance as a non-intellectual exercise. I think what this platform allowed me to do is really make those connections for some of us who are not in the field, who are not invested in movement. Beauty continues to remain a problem, I will say. It is an aesthetic of beauty. However, there is a deep intellectual and layered understanding across language, culture, history that you have in the movement itself. So thank you again. If it's okay, I would have to go about starting my day here. So thank you
No,
so
ma'am.
much.
Yeah,
Thank
just
you.
one more for 2 minutes, ma'am. Our respected director, Sir Professor Dr. Avindu Sanaik would like to say something.
Absolutely.
Am I audible, right?
Yes.
Yes. Ayubowan, namaste, and very good evening from my side. So who's sharing his screen? Right. So I think first of all, I would like to tell you all this is very blessed day because it's amazing and calm, right? So on behalf of all of us, I would like to extend our heartfelt thanks to Prof. Dr. Kaustavi Sarkar for joining us today on this special occasion of International Dance Day. So, your session on form and formless investigating gender in movement has not only enlightened us but also opened new dimensions in how we think about identity and expressions in dance. So we are deeply grateful for your time, insight, and passion. It has been an honor to learn from someone who continues to shape the field through performance, research, and advocate for community and justice in dance. So thank you very much once again for inspiring us, especially this is Universal Day. I think it's a very, very amazing day. And thank you very much for you. Thank you very much again.
Thank you. Have a good evening. It's
Thank
morning
Thank
for
you
us.
so much, ma'am, for taking out your valuable time and enlightening all of us. Thank you so much. My heartfelt gratitude to you and also to our respected director, sir, and to all the participants present here for joining.
Yes,
Have a
special.
great
Yeah,
International Dance Day.
especially thank you very much, our Dr. Madhurima for she also always trying to do good and amazing events and such like. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, sir. Same to you. Thanks for your
Thank
support
you.
to all of you. Thank you.
Thank you,
Thank you, ma'am.
Madhurima. Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.